What is it you should be looking for when getting a fairway wood? What type of head design is going to suit your game the best? But also, what are the common mistakes that golfers make when choosing this essential golf club? It's also a journey that we can take together because I am currently looking for a new 3-wood in my bag. So each year I do a Build My Bag series comparing some of the very best clubs in the world for a chance to win a spot in my bag. So far this year I've done videos on drivers, the top end of the bag, on irons, on wedges, on a putter, and obviously today is all about the fairway woods. So these are the TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus, the Callaway Paradigm, and the PXG Generation 6 0311. All these clubs feature strengths which could sway my decision and potentially yours. Fairway woods are quite unique, not only in their design, but also the different locations that you use them from. You can use them off the tee for positioning, or if you don't fancy hitting the driver, but also when hitting long approaches off the fairway into greens. Oh my God, go in the hole. So I've been testing out these 3 woods for literally months now, and here is what I found. The Stealth 2 Plus is an absolute rocket ship. Like, if you want another option off a tee, this is a fantastic club to get. It's got an absolutely gigantic weight in the base of this club. Now, that is because the majority of this club head is actually titanium with a carbon crown. So there is a lot of weight being saved, and that's allowed TaylorMade to whack this monstrous bit of metal in the bottom. It's also maneuverable. So you can adjust this weight, move it back and move it forward if you want to hit the ball higher or lower. So depending if you want to have a 3-wood which you can munch, reduce the spin and absolutely fire it down the fairway, well, this is going to be a pretty good choice. Now the PXG, I found this to be actually a really good all-rounder. Probably not quite as long as the TaylorMade, even though it does hold its own. Actually behind the ball, it does have a few similarities. It has the carbon crown, it has the difference between the materials. On the bottom, it's got some screw-in weights, which helps spread a little bit of weight around the perimeter of the club head to add forgiveness. Now I got fitted for this club over in Arizona at PXG HQ, and they really got it dialed in for me. I think as far as fittings go, this is probably the most up to my specs. And just look at that ball. For example, this graphite design shaft that they put in here for me, I've got to be honest, I'm not like a massive shaftoid. Yes, I believe they make a difference, and I do prefer some over others, but this just looks like really nice. As far as the way it's like color coded and the way that the grip kind of matches, yeah, I like it. I mean, what's not to like? Wow. Now, talking about fairway woods which look really good, the Callaway Paradigm, I have to say, I think this looks absolutely splendid, especially like now when the sun is out and you can actually see that extra flash of blue in the forged carbon. The whole point of this forged carbon is that Callaway can make it into any shape they want. You can see on the bottom of this club, it's got a bit of a fin which can help guide it through turf and also aid with aerodynamics. They've also whacked a huge tungsten weight just behind the face, but remarkably, this club sits behind the ball so shallow. It looks so thin. It looks like there's hardly anything there. And when I first started to hit it, I got a little bit confused because this is the type of club to me that looks like it should just fly up to space, but actually I can get it moving relatively low. And into wind like this, I can penetrate it down there. It is a very good club. So I've been testing all these clubs at 15 degrees of loft. Every single one of them has a slightly different shaft, which I feel gives the best performance. Again, if you do get your own 3-wood, I always recommend that you get fitted. Now, data testing on these clubs from the tee, it's all very interesting and it does give us an insight, but to really get to grips with how good they are, we need to test those intangibles, what they're like off the fairway, and things like look and feel and sound. So for me, the most confidence inspiring off the ground was the Callaway Paradigm. I'll put it as simply as I can. It just sits so shallow to the ground. It looks almost too shallow. It almost looks like it's going to go straight underneath the ball, but oddly enough, what we saw in the data testing and off the tee is you can actually control the flight pretty well. It doesn't just balloon up into the air, it can actually be quite piercing when you want it to be. Feel-wise, the Paradigm as well was really good. It felt quite soft, it felt quite responsive, all around a fantastic performer. The PXG was a little bit firmer, but not in a bad way. It left the club with a really good crack. It was like a whip snapping. I think in some ways that might be my favorite of these three as far as feel is concerned, just because of that extra level of snap and power that I had. Looks wise, perhaps because I have been using the TaylorMade Stealth, the original 3-wood. The Stealth 2 Plus may have just swayed it. It just feels like such a powerful golf club. And behind the ball, even though it is a bit deeper, I still feel that ability to get it up off the ground. Maybe if you're a higher handicap, you wouldn't like the look of it. You would want the shallowness of a Paradigm. Now stay tuned, because which one of these goes in the bag, that's going to be a tricky decision. But we also need to look at what you need to bear in mind if you're going to select a 3-wood for your own bag. So firstly, we need to assess what your needs are for fairway woods. So we have created this wonderful graph slash matrix slash thing. Where you land on this chart will help you determine what kind of fairway wood you're going to need. For example, if you are on the scale of, oh my God, I just really need to get this fairway wood up in the air, you're going to be looking for something with a very shallow face, maybe a little bit more loft, but also a big, forgiving club head with the weight pushed around the perimeter for maximum forgiveness. If you are looking for a club which may give you a little bit more of a penetrating flight, then a more compact club head with a slightly deeper face might be the one for you. This is the type of club which will generally benefit a better player who is looking for a little bit more workability and also options off the tee. If distance is a key factor, then you're going to be looking at a 3-wood which goes a long way. Now, there are quite a few of these models out there at this moment in time. The Stealth 2 Plus, which I'm testing within this video, is a perfect example of a low spinning, high launching, bombing 3-wood. And then if you want a mix of all these clubs, then obviously you're going to be in the middle of this graph. We've also got the Swing Quest channel, because honestly, even though we can talk you through the right types of club for your game, equipment is only as good as your technique. So if you want some help striking your fairway woods, check out these videos here. But to choose which fairway wood is going in the bag for this year, well, it's not the Callaway or the PXG or the TaylorMade, it's this one. Ping have just released what I think may be the best fairway wood I've ever hit. The G430 LST. It combines everything I love about Ping with some additional very un-Ping-like features. The head shape is shallow enough to allow me the feeling that I can get it up out of most lies, whilst also being compact. It feels like I can really drill it off the tee. A little bit like that. It's got a massive chunk of tungsten in the bottom, adding that sole weight. It's also got this carbon fly wrap, which is, essentially carbon in the club head and on the crown, which helps save weight. It's something which Ping have been reluctant to use up until this year. Just don't know why. The Spinsistency face, which, yes, it is a truly horrendous name, does actually work. So it has reduced loft on the bottom of the club. So if you catch it thin, it actually reduces the spin and still maintains distance. And all this comes together in a package which sends the ball a long way. It looks great when you get addressed, and also you can pick it up out of most lies. There is, however, an issue which could put quite a few people off. Simply put, the G430 LST is one of the most complete fairway woods I've ever hit, and it can be all yours for £500. £500. Now, I'm fortunate enough to get clubs through to test, and this will be going in the bag. But to be selling for £500 for a fairway wood, that is huge, and actually the recommended retail price was even higher than that. Now, costs and materials and generally just worldwide things have been going up in price, but £500 for a fairway wood, that seems pretty intense, especially when you consider fairway wood technology really, when compared to some other aspects of golf club design, hasn't really moved that far forward within the last 5-10 years. There is nothing, absolutely nothing to say that you can't get a 3-wood from 5 years ago and it perform as well as this club next to me right now. But I would be very interested to know what you think. So get down into those comments, leave me a reply and let me know what you think of this 3-wood, of the other ones featured within this test, and also what you have currently in your bag.